Hello SGD, and here we are looking over Cusco with a view over the top of Sacsayhuaman. Those are the sawtooth wall patterns, so that's highlighting the lower walls, and there we have Cusco City in the background. Now, for instance, Cori Cancha is one of the most famous places there in Cusco City. We'll come back to these and go through a little bit, go through the city and the main points in depth. But what I want to show is the area. So there's a map. Now I'm going to overlay this old black and white photo. Notice how much development there's been. So this is 1930s, maybe 1920s Cusco, and all in the hillside in the background. It's all newly developed. You can see so there's been a lot of population expansion, but we can highlight this area, and this is essentially the border of old Cusco, the Incan capital. I was very surprised to find how small this capital was. Okay, so there's an aerial map, Sacsayhuaman up here on the top. You can see those sawtooth walls. North is up, and Cori Cancha. So the length from tip to tip is 2.4 kilometres or 1.5 miles. Here's a map of the old city, and we overlay that. We can see how that matches up. Now I'll come back to that in a moment, because they're also highlighting something else in regards to the pattern that is built. It will allegedly built into the city. But we have a Puma form, or a Puma. We'll come back to that, but what we have is the old area of Cusco. Here's a map by Squire. Again, when was this? This was like 1900, something like over a century ago now. Maybe even the late 1800s. Now I forget the exact date. But we see, again, Sacsayhuaman, the sawtooth walls, and the major structures of old Cusco City, the capital of Inca Empire, which extended from Colombia down to Chile. Both sides of the Andes Mountain was absolutely huge. And, here's another map. Was it Sir or Lord Welcome? I think it was the fella. But again, he's just... Anyway. So this area, what's the square area? 1.1 kilometres, 460 metres at its widest. Now, because it's tapered, probably it should be actually less than that, but sort of rounding up simple. But yeah, 1.1 square kilometres, 0.42 square miles. This is a very small area. If we go back, you can, count the buildings down to the tip of this. This is a small town in scale. And now, no doubt, there were other houses built around, but we're talking now lost ancient high technology, impossible precise megaliths and stones. And no, you can't fit these things. No one can do it. You can't use these stones. Mohs scale, something. Therefore, Göbekli Tepe, it's 12,000 years old. Brien Foerster, Bright Inside, Uncharted X. These the tour guides, people who accept money to go on tours as if they're offering information. And you shouldn't, poo-poo on someone's theory. Well, please, if you've watched their video, they poo-poo on everything. So it's like a little bit, goose and gander. If you want to why are you being mean to them? Have standards. All right, so that's the area. It's tiny. There's a map by Squire. Now the feature is, was there a Puma? Or Puma, as you pronounce, depends on your pronunciation, built in the design. A Puma's like a North American mountain lion. It's got that yellow, that tan colour. A jaguar, it looks like a leopard with the yellow and the black spots type of thing. Pumas exist down here in the Andes Mountains, but they're so close here to the lower Andes on the Amazon side that, well, I don't know. I'm not sure where the boundary lines would be, but they say Puma, and so I'm just going to overlay that. So as I showed that earlier image, this is one of the interpretations that this city plan was designed to be like a Puma. think of the Nazca lines. Now, if you've heard, oh no, they'd have to have hot air balloons or something. They would have to see it from above to design this plan. Absolute nonsense. On a piece of paper, and I make a grid, and I can drop. I put in my lengths, and then with a very simple protractor, like an angle, or just by taking measurements, or divide it up into a series of triangles, you can project very complex images onto the ground without ever having to fly up. This is this is just a nonsense in regards to could it be done? Absolutely, yeah. Not even a question worth pondering, to be honest, any serious person. Here's another, like a digital reconstruction of that thing, and I've just put it in proper, proper alignment, and that's another interpretation of it. I don't know anywhere near enough about the intricacies of Inca culture to make any sort of intelligent comment on that. Other people have pointed out to it. I'm just showing these parts here because I want to go down to the individual areas with these absolutely beautiful dry stone wall. Let's not take nothing away, but let's not turn human ingenuity and a bit of elbow grease into magical lost civilizations and Atlantis. So that's is it Hatun Ramiok Street. There's an intersection there, which is that'll be in the next videos. We'll go through. We're basically able to count the number of stones, get their size, we'll compare where the quarries come from, and it's just lost ancient high technology is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like really cringeworthy ridiculous with the things that they say, and more, they have to know. They've been at this for years. They charge money. They like to poo-poo on everyone else, and then and then when someone's mean to them, they get all indignant as if they're upstanding citizens who have never wronged. But we'll break this down. And so that street, okay, now notice those two blocks are the same. One is outside of the Puma, one is inside of a Puma, depending on who's and how the design is interpreted. So I don't know. I'm reporting, not offering any opinions here. At Sacsayhuaman, there's another one where they call the Puma paw. Condors, snakes, and pumas did have a special meaning within the culture, the religion of there, and I'm guessing as well all the neighbouring peoples before, because that's what people usually do. It's the animals that are in and around you get incorporated into your mythos. And anyway, so old Cusco, it's much smaller than what you probably think. No doubt there were other buildings, housing surrounding the area, but when it comes to the super advanced megalithic polygonal walls, once we leave Sacsayhuaman and come to they just don't exist in the city. There's some very lovely photos that don't, but if you don't put them into context of along the street, how long is the street, and these type of things, it gives a very, very false impression of what's actually happening. It's the same areas get photoed over and over again to give the impression that this whole city is built like this. And we'll look at that in a bit more in detail in the next ones. But I just wanted to show that's the old city, and stone walls and possible lost ancient high technology. Therefore, 12,000 years ago, lost civilization. Well, it's, what can you say? But if Brien Foerster is saying it, you can take it to the bank that it's absolute nonsense. And again, the old comparison. We've had more to come on the other ones, but so I've got to start with the context, and that Cusco city with the really highly refined stonework, which is limited to parts of the city. It's not probably not what you think it is. Anyway, with that, cheers, SGD. Have a good one.